Hello, and welcome to our webinar on 3 things utilities need to know about EVs in 2019. I'm John Morris, Senior Director of Electric Transportation at DNR International. Our company works with hundreds of utilities across the United States to provide objective, educational tools about electric vehicles to their members. In collaboration with utilities and industry partners, DNR developed Drive EV Market Services to help utilities build partnerships, spot trends, and quantify market opportunities based on the most current and actionable data on the EV market. In order for utilities to prepare for the EV revolution, they will have to align their business strategies with market developments. In this webinar, we'll discuss opportunities and challenges that utilities face in advancing their electric mobility goals, including market growth, utility impacts, and utility opportunities. Turns out that 2018 was a milestone year for electric vehicle sales in the US. According to Inside EVs, 2018 saw over 360,000 electric vehicles delivered in the US, compared to just under 200,000 in 2017. EVs represented about 2% of the total US market for new vehicles in 2018, but there are signs that EV supply is currently a bigger challenge than EV demand. Manufacturers, fortunately, are introducing new EV models every year. These new models are finally starting to include trucks, SUVs, and crossovers that are perennial favorites for US consumers. Current forecasts expect 31% of new vehicle models will be battery or plug-in hybrid electric vehicles in 2020. According to Edison Foundation forecasts, the number of EVs on the road is projected to reach 18.7 million in 2030, up from slightly more than 1 million at the end of 2018. What's driving the EV revolution? Simply put, EVs deliver 3 wins their conventional gas-powered cousins cannot. They reduce pollution, they reduce utility customer transportation costs, and they increase grid efficiency and revenue for utilities. Despite growth, the EV market still faces barriers. There is limited infrastructure for public and at-home charging, especially outside of ZEV states. In addition, dealership business models that rely on regular vehicle maintenance are at odds with EVs that need less service. When buying EVs today, it's common for consumers to find a lack of options and limited expertise at their local dealership. With a connection to the market, utilities can work to overcome these barriers and harness the EV revolution. So what does EV market growth mean for utilities? Well, according to a National Renewable Energy Laboratory study, electricity demand could increase up to 80 terawatt hours per year by 2050 with transportation electrification. That means a 38% increase over the current US demand. The impact will be especially heavy on some local utility grids where there are clusters of EV owners. Typical EV drivers require 10 to 15 kWh per day to recharge at home, which is basically like adding another house for every 2 EVs. Utility managers are starting to plan ahead to address the impacts of electric vehicles. You're probably asking yourself some of these questions. What grid upgrades will be needed to keep up with projected demand? How will the EV revolution impact rate structures? And when will utility investments start to pay off? EV demand opens the door for utilities to increase their revenue and grid efficiency. However, in order to succeed, utilities will have to align their business strategies to market developments. In the near term, utilities can motivate EV purchases to increase load. Using special rate schedules and demand response programs, utilities can shift demand off-peak and better integrate with storage and renewables. Utilities can also promote Energy Star certified Level 1 and Level 2 EV chargers to reduce standby power consumption and enable grid integration. In order to succeed, utilities need to have a consistent message to the market and leverage important work being done at the federal level on energy-efficient EV charging. The biggest opportunity for utilities is to grow demand. Each EV will use around $3,000 to $5,000 worth of kWh over its lifetime, so motivating consumers to purchase EVs in the near term can pay off significantly. Utilities that are just starting to develop EV programs should start with efforts to build relationships with consumers and other EV market actors. Utilities can educate consumers about electric vehicle options, specifically help them compare EV and ICE fuel costs based on your specific kWh rates. You can also provide information on ENERGY STAR certified charger options and where to find them. Next, utilities will want to have meaningful engagement with car dealerships. Having high quality relationships with select dealerships will pay off more than trying to engage with every dealership in your service territory. You want to partner with what we call champion dealerships to provide training and resources. The relationship can work both ways, with utilities qualifying customers and delivering them to EV dealer partners. You also want to consider developing your EV charger installer network. Most likely, there are not a lot of EV charger installers in your service territory. This network can take time to mature and grow. Starting this process now can pay off significantly down the road. In areas where the EV market is ahead of the curve, utilities can dive into more advanced programs. Start by analyzing market data to plan infrastructure improvements by identifying clusters of EV ownership. If you're concerned about peak demand, you can implement variable rate structures to encourage off-peak charging and manage demand. Finally, building and promoting public charger infrastructure can make a big difference in making consumers confident in electric vehicles. Bring more ENERGY STAR certified level 2 and soon ENERGY STAR certified DC fast charger installations to your territory to encourage more EV adoption. This concludes our webinar, and for more information on Drive EV Market Services, visit our website at drintl.com. Also, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you would like to arrange a demonstration on how Drive EV Market Services can accelerate EV adoption within your utility service territory. Thank you.